Seemed to be some pretty good jump out there today compared to maybe Monday after Anaheim, so it looks like everybody's ready to go.
I think everyone's enjoyed the day off and coming off a win, and after that break, especially when you have older teams, it takes a little bit longer. You think a break is good for older players, and the rest is, but find it's often the younger guys who recover after a long break, and the older guys just need be on the ice more regularly to feel the puck and not have long, strenuous practices. But anyways, I think that just break kind of it was tougher on some of the guys, and right now we're in a really good spot, coming off a win, having the day off, and just excited for tomorrow.
Kris, you've always never been afraid to experiment with different combinations and different lines. I mean, like Zach Hyman's pretty much been a staple with McDavid for a long time. Giving Connor Brown a look there. Is it just an experimenting to kind of see in case, or what is it? Do you foresee that being a long-term split?
I think there'll be a time. There's definitely going to be a time that Zach's back on the top line. I think he's a top line guy, and right now it helps our team with spreading out the scoring. It also allows Brownie to get a reward for playing really well. So. How long that stretch is, that'll depend on how the team does. Are we winning games? Is Brownie continue to play at that level he's playing at? And Zach will be there at some point when, that's up to so many other factors.
How much longer does he have to wear that thing in his face?
Well, I talked to him today. He said 1 week.
1 more week?
But the doctors are probably saying 3 or 4. So they'll probably compromise somewhere in the middle.
So we did something more than just break his nose? Why is he still wearing it?
No, that's it. Just protecting it, and yeah.
Adam Henrique had a really good stretch in November, mid-December. Wasn't scoring as much, but didn't give up any goals at all. He's talked. He obviously wants his offensive side to be a little bit higher. Where have you seen his overall game? And, we've kind of seen him bounce around different lines here.
Yeah, I think Rico has been solid for us. I think that'd be good. Just doesn't give up very much. We rely on him for face-offs. He can play against other teams' lines. Scoring, outscoring, he's probably 50%, maybe a little bit more. I know the line with Brownie and Yanni and himself are a strong line that plays a lot of difficult minutes against other teams' top lines. And, would I like a little more offense from him? Yeah, but, a lot of that's maybe a little more that he could do, a little more that the chances. But overall, Rico's good. He's important to our team, and would we like a little more scoring? Yeah, but, overall, I think his game's pretty good.
Is Emberson playing his style of game exactly the way you remember it in the American League, only playing against better players?
Yeah, that's the player I expected and saw. In the American League, a little more matchups, playing against other teams' top lines. Here, maybe a little more sheltered, but it's not that we shelter him very much. He has a lot of key minutes against other teams' top players, and that's evident with on the penalty kill. He's out there against the team's 5 best offensive players every penalty kill from the start. So, but that's the player that I remember. Just a good defender, can make a good first pass. Not a guy that's really putting up big offensive numbers, but can contribute a little bit.
Kris, you start tomorrow in 9 games, and I think it's 15 days, and all in 9 different cities, really. You're home for 1, then you're on the road for 3, home for 1, home for 3. When you look at a schedule like that, do you account for minutes of certain guys at different times to ensure that fatigue doesn't become a factor?
Well, you're making me tired just thinking about it right now. There's a lot of things we factor, and the minutes more going into a back-to-back. A lot of consideration goes into what days we practice and the travel days and what those practices are going to look like. But to say how much a player's going to play going into the night, that's pretty tough to do, just because what's the game going to be like? Is there a lot of power plays? Is this tight checking? Is there a matchup we're trying to get away? I don't know. There's so many things but right now it is a concern. We do have a lot of hockey, and there's a extremely large amount of travel, and something we ought to be aware of.
So you would play Pickard maybe a little bit more, playing 9 games?
Well, those games, there's not many back-to-backs. Obviously, we have one back-to-back coming up, but most of them are spread out. So, yeah, he'll get a share of games. I think at the beginning of the year we mapped it out which games he'd play and which ones Stu would play, and we pretty much stick with it. And I'm not sure what we have him scheduled for right now, but on those 9 games, typically he would probably be playing about 30.
And Kris, will it be Stuart Skinner tomorrow and then Pickard on Sunday?
Stu was playing tomorrow.
Same lineup?
We have the same lineup, same players, yes.
We asked Emerson, he says for him it's better to be not noticed at the end of the game because it can be played well. Is that
Well, for a
is he
defenseman,
defenseman?
as a defensive defenseman, yeah, you typically don't want to be recognized. You're probably doing your job, and the game's about doing little things well, things that don't get recognized. It's those small little details that win hockey games. And as a fan or even a coach, do you really notice a guy broke up a play and got a stick on that puck? You notice it when it doesn't happen and there's a puck that goes in your net. So yeah, it's those little details that aren't they're definitely not the plays that aren't getting on the highlight reel.
So is Emerson a younger version, you think, long-term Cody Ceci as a defender?
I think there's. I think they're both right shots. I think they're both defensive minded. Cody was stronger. He was bigger frame. Ty's a much better skater. So, they're both defensive defensemen, but they both have their different attributes.